hello, hello. Do you remember this toy? The Fisher Price Discovery Cottage from the 1980s. Fisher Price. It's one of those toys that we all played with as children. But I don't know if you would just think of it off the top of your head like you would other toys from your childhood. This is one that I kind of had remembered one of my cousins receiving at Christmas time. At my grandma's house, in our grandma's cozy basement where we would open our Christmas presents. And I remember thinking what an amazing toy it was, with all of the little different secret rooms and different things that it does all around the different sections of the toy. But for so many years, even into adulthood, I couldn't remember what toy it was. It was deep, deep in the recesses of my brain. And I knew there had to be a toy that kind of existed like that. And then eventually I figured out which toy it was. It was this one. The memory of it, once I realized that it was this toy that had been filed away deep in the recesses of my brain, when I realized it was this toy, it just filled me with so much nostalgia and joy. Just that same childhood joy that you feel when you're opening presents on Christmas morning or on your birthday. Did this toy do that for you? Has this toy been locked deep in the recesses of your brain? Or are there other toys like that? Let's take a look at it all around. And there are even some really nice textures that we can appreciate even more now. The shingles on this roof have such a great texture. Here's two little windows. One open that you can see through, and one not closed. Some more texture with the siding here. And we have a little dog. And we have a little dog right here. Such the classic nostalgic look of this dog. And a flower, and a flower. And possibly part of the most nostalgic part of this toy, but not the only one, because there are quite a few little nostalgic things on this toy. The bell. Ready? And look at this texture right here. Do you remember this door? around so you can see all of the sides. Here's a little window and some more cute graphics. A snail and some flowers. Some cute little shutters. Little orange shutters with a little heart in each one. And this little turning item. Do you remember any of these little pictures from when you were a kid? Dog and a cat. Baby in the bathtub, bathtub, bathtub with some bubbles, bubbles. Popping bubbles. Here's the back of the Discovery Cottage. More textured shingled roof. Some flowers and vines going up the back of the cottage. And do you remember the sound that this butterfly makes? Do you remember what is it? This garage door. Some cute little graphics again here. Love all the little details of this toy. Let's open this garage door. Does this awaken memories for you? Look at this cute little bike. Do you remember this bike? Such nice bright colors, the orange and the yellow. Little steering wheel. And here's the cute little person riding it. Yellow body. Some hair. A little happy face. The very iconic round head of the Fisher Price people. These ones are much bigger than the little people that came with a lot of the other sets, like the farm and the house. Those other very iconic 1980s little people that were about this big. You can see them in some of my other videos. These ones are kind of special because they're just so much bigger. I think it's what makes them even more memorable. Person's all done with the bike. Back it goes. Let's turn this around again. doghouse right here. We'll take our friend the dog. Now, one of my most favorite parts, and perhaps the most nostalgic part of this whole cottage, is behind this section of the roof. Let me know if you remember what's under this section of the roof. Let's take a look at it now. Do you remember this sweet little bedroom? Look at the little Fisher Price graphics and the little bed, the mirror, and a spot to stand. Let's take a closer look. One of the things I think is super cute about the graphics up here are we have a handful of other very nostalgic vintage Fisher Price toys that a lot of us grew up playing with. Look right here. Do you see that? The little person on the dresser. How cute. And the person can fit right here in this hole. And do you remember this little teaching clock, this Fisher Price teaching clock? And the very nostalgic Fisher Price apple. It was a chime apple. When you move the apple, it makes a very distinct chime sound. And the stacking rings. I think we all had the stacking rings, or at least played with them at some point in our little lives. And then this bed area. Look how cute and perfectly it fits. If the dog wants to come for a little visit, they can just hang out in the bedroom. This was definitely a fun, cute little area to play in as a kid with the little figures and the mirror. Hello. Hello. So let me know if you remember this toy. Did it awaken happy, joyful, deep nostalgic memories for you as it did for me? If you're just settling in for bed, like this, look at this little person. And I hope you have a good sleep. I hope you're nice and comfy. And I hope you have wonderful dreams of all of your old childhood